The big reveal in the heart of the galaxy, where the Grand Council of alien species gathered, anticipation buzzed like a live wire. The galaxy had been talking about it for weeks. Humanity's new warship. This was not just another vessel. It was rumored to be something entirely different, something bizarre and astonishing. Today was the day of the grand unveiling, and every eye in the room was glued to the spectacle about to unfold. The venue was a massive, opulent hall orbiting a remote planet. The hall was filled with delegates from various alien races, all buzzing with speculation. Humans had been tight-lipped about their project, sparking a flurry of rumors. Some said it was a weapon of unimaginable power. Others whispered it was a marvel of engineering. Whatever it was clear that humanity had something big to show. As the lights dimmed and a hush fell over the crowd, a large curtain covering the warship began to retract slowly. The alien delegates leaned forward in their seats, their many eyes widening in curiosity. The warship was slowly revealed, and the room erupted in a mix of gasps and murmurs. The ship was unlike anything anyone had seen before. It had an odd, almost organic shape, with twisting curves and shimmering panels that seemed to change color as the light hit them. The ship's design was truly bizarre. It looked less like a traditional spacecraft and more like a living creature. Its surface was covered with strange, glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically, almost as if the ship itself was breathing. The warship seemed to have a mind of its own, responding to the crowd with a subtle, almost playful display of light and movement. The human representatives, standing beside their creation with proud smiles, began explaining the ship's features. They spoke of advanced technology and unique capabilities, but their words seemed to be lost on many of the alien delegates who were too stunned by the ship's appearance to fully grasp the details. One of the most surprising features was the warship's propulsion system. Instead of conventional engines, it used a series of twisting, fluid-like appendages that seemed to flow in and out of the ship's structure. This system was said to provide incredible speed and maneuverability, making the warship nearly impossible to target. The aliens exchanged puzzled glances, trying to understand how such a strange design could work so effectively. The ship also had an unusual energy shield that was described as being almost alive. It could change its density and shape in response to different types of attacks, providing a nearly impenetrable defense. The aliens were impressed but also confused. How could a shield that seemed so organic provide such high-level protection? As the presentation continued, the ship's weapon systems were demonstrated. The weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of traditional laser beams or missiles, the warship used a series of energy pulses that seemed to disrupt the very fabric of space. When fired, these pulses created stunning visual effects, bending light and space in ways that left the crowd awestruck. The delegates tried to process what they were seeing, but the technology was so advanced that it was almost beyond comprehension. Despite the impressive demonstration, there were still skeptics in the crowd. Some alien races were wary, believing that humanity might be hiding something or that the warship might have hidden weaknesses. They whispered among themselves, questioning whether such a strange design could be truly effective in battle. But even the skeptics couldn't deny the sheer spectacle of the unveiling. The warship was a marvel, and humanity had clearly put an enormous amount of effort into creating something unique. The human representatives continued their presentation, emphasizing the ship's potential for peacekeeping and exploration as well as combat. They talked about how the warship could be used to protect weaker worlds and maintain order in the galaxy. Their words were intended to reassure, but they also hinted at humanity's growing influence and capabilities. As the presentation came to a close, the lights in the hall brightened again. The delegates slowly stood, their conversations a mix of admiration and skepticism. The warship had made a strong impression, but questions and doubts remained. What would this bizarre creation mean for the galaxy? Would humanity's new warship become a symbol of peace? Or would it be seen as a threat? The scene outside the hall was just as lively. News of the warship's unveiling spread quickly, and media from across the galaxy began to report on the event. Some reports praised the ship's innovative design, while others focused on the potential risks. The galaxy was now abuzz with discussions about humanity's new warship, and everyone was eager to see how it would perform in the future. In the midst of all this excitement, the human representatives watched with a mix of pride and anxiety. They had achieved their goal of making an impression, but they knew that the real test was yet to come. The warship was now in the galaxy's spotlight, and its true capabilities would soon be put to the test. For now, humanity had made its mark with the most bizarre warship in galactic history. The galaxy would never be the same, and the stage was set for a new chapter in interstellar relations. Testing the waters, the anticipation was palpable as the day of the warship's first test arrived. The galaxy had been buzzing with rumors and speculation about this mysterious new vessel from Earth. Now, it was time to see if the warship lived up to the hype. Human engineers and scientists gathered at the testing facility, their faces a mix of excitement and nervousness. The facility, located on a remote planet away from prying eyes, was equipped with the latest technology to test the warship's capabilities. Alien observers, who had been granted limited access, watched from a distance, their curiosity barely contained. The warship, named the Aegis, stood in the center of the testing area. Its design was unlike anything seen before, a strange mix of sleek curves and sharp angles, with glowing panels and shifting lights. It looked more like a piece of abstract art than a functional warship. The aliens had been skeptical of its design, dismissing it as a mere showpiece. But today, they would see if the Aegis could back up its unusual appearance with real performance. Captain Ava Carter, the commander of the Aegis, was at the helm. She was a seasoned space veteran with a reputation for calm under pressure. Her crew, a mix of humans and alien specialists, were equally prepared. They had trained for months, learning to operate the warship's unconventional systems and mastering its peculiar technology. As the test began, the Aegis slowly lifted off the ground, its engines emitting a soft hum. The warship moved with an eerie grace, gliding through the air as if it were weightless. The aliens watched with bated breath, expecting a dramatic failure or at least a malfunction. The first phase of the test involved simple maneuvers. The Aegis performed sharp turns and quick accelerations, showcasing its agility. The movements were fluid and precise, far exceeding the aliens' expectations. It became clear that this warship was not just a pretty face, it was a formidable machine in action. The next phase was more complex. The Aegis engaged its advanced weapons systems in a controlled environment. For the test, the warship fired non-lethal projectiles at targets placed at various distances. Each shot was accurate, and the projectiles hit their marks with pinpoint precision. The warship's targeting system was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen, sophisticated yet seemingly effortless in its accuracy. One of the most surprising features of the Aegis was its ability to generate a protective energy field. During the test, the warship demonstrated this by deflecting incoming projectiles from simulated enemy fire. The energy field shimmered around the warship, absorbing and redirecting the impacts. This defensive capability was impressive, and unlike any technology known to the aliens. The final phase of the test was a simulated combat scenario. The Aegis faced off against a series of drones designed to mimic enemy attacks. The drones were equipped with various weapons and tactics to challenge the warship's defenses. As the battle unfolded, the Aegis showcased its ability to adapt to different threats. It outmaneuvered the drones with ease, using its unique systems to counter each attack. Throughout the test, the crew of the Aegis worked seamlessly together. Captain Carter and her team operated the warship's systems with a level of precision that spoke to their extensive training. The warship's performance was nothing short of extraordinary, leaving the alien observers stunned. As the test concluded, the facility erupted in applause. The humans celebrated their success, but they were also aware that the real challenge lay ahead. They had proven the warship's capabilities, but the true test would come when they faced real threats. The aliens, on the other hand, were left in a state of shock. Their initial doubts about the Aegis were quickly dispelled. The warship's performance had been far beyond their expectations, and they were now forced to reassess their views on human technology. What they had once dismissed as a curiosity had turned out to be a powerful and effective warship. In the days that followed, Reports of the Aegis's performance spread throughout the galaxy. The warship's success sparked a wave of interest and intrigue. Many began to wonder if humanity's new vessel represented a new era in space warfare. Some saw it as a potential threat, while others saw it as an opportunity for alliance and cooperation. Captain Carter and her crew returned to Earth, their mission accomplished, but their work far from over. The Aegis was now a symbol of human ingenuity and innovation. As they prepared for future deployments, they knew that their warship had already made a significant impact on the galaxy's perception of humanity. The testing phase had been a success, but the Aegis was just beginning its journey. The real challenges and opportunities lay ahead as humanity continued to explore and make its mark on the galaxy. The Aegis had proven its worth, but its story was far from finished. Growing tensions, the success of the Aegis warship did not go unnoticed. Across the galaxy, news of its incredible performance spread quickly, stirring a mix of fear, curiosity, and intrigue among various factions. The impressive display had significant implications, and soon, tensions began to rise. In the heart of the Galactic Council, leaders from various alien races gathered to discuss the recent developments. The council chamber was filled with murmurs and debates. The Aegis had shown that humanity possessed technology far beyond what anyone had anticipated, and this revelation had thrown many into a state of unease. Supreme Chancellor Rylock, the leader of the Galactic Council, addressed the assembly. His tone was stern as he spoke about the need for a unified response. "We must assess this new threat," he said, his voice echoing in the large chamber. Humanity's warship is not just a piece of advanced technology. It represents a shift in the balance of power. Among the alien leaders, there were differing views. Some, like Chancellor Rylock, saw the Aegis as a potential threat that needed to be contained. They argued that humanity's sudden leap in technology could destabilize the galaxy. Others, however, were more cautious, suggesting that an alliance with humanity might be beneficial. They proposed that understanding the new technology could lead to mutual benefits and new opportunities for cooperation. In the distant reaches of the galaxy, a powerful warlord named Zorath began to take action. Zorath ruled over a vast empire with a reputation for aggression and conquest. The success of the Aegis was seen as a direct challenge to his authority. Zorath feared that humanity's new warship could shift the power dynamic in favor of those who were allied with Earth. He ordered his fleet to prepare for potential conflict, assembling his generals to discuss strategies. Back on Earth, the mood was a mix of pride and apprehension. The Aegis had proven itself in the tests, but now humanity faced a new set of challenges. The High Command held emergency meetings to assess the growing tensions and to plan their next steps. General Elena Martinez, a key military strategist, was tasked with evaluating the situation. "The Aegis has given us a significant advantage," General Martinez said in a briefing to her team. "But we need to be prepared for the fallout. Other factions will see this as a threat, and we must be ready for any response." The human government decided to take a diplomatic approach as well. Earth's ambassadors were sent to key alien factions to reassure them and to explore the possibility of forming alliances. The ambassadors worked tirelessly, engaging in negotiations and attempting to build trust with other races. However, their efforts were met with mixed reactions. Some aliens were receptive, eager to discuss potential partnerships, while others remained wary and suspicious. One of the most critical encounters took place with the Taylorians, a race known for their advanced technology and strategic prowess. Their leader, High Commander Virok, was known for his pragmatic approach. He agreed to a meeting with the human ambassadors, intrigued by the potential for collaboration. The discussions were tense, but productive, with both sides expressing their concerns and aspirations. Meanwhile, in the shadowy corners of the galaxy, a group of mercenaries and rogue factions began to stir. Seeing the potential for profit and chaos, they started to organize against the new human threat. These groups were notorious for their willingness to act outside the law, and their actions added another layer of uncertainty to the situation. On a more personal level, the crew of the Aegis felt the strain of the rising tensions. Captain Ava Carter and her team had grown accustomed to their role as pioneers of this new era, but the pressure of the growing threats weighed heavily on them. They knew that their actions and decisions would have far-reaching consequences. In a private briefing, Captain Carter addressed her crew. "We've shown what we're capable of, but now we must navigate the complex web of galactic politics," she said. "Our mission is not just about showcasing our technology, it's about securing our place in the galaxy. We need to stay sharp and be ready for whatever comes next." The growing tensions were also affecting daily life on Earth. News reports covered the escalating situation, and public opinion was divided. Some people were excited about the new possibilities and the potential for Earth to play a major role in galactic affairs. Others were anxious, worried about the implications of humanity's new position and the potential for conflict. In the Galactic Council chamber, the discussions continued as leaders weighed their options. The once clear boundaries between allies and enemies were becoming blurred. The Aegis had introduced a new element into the galactic landscape, and everyone was trying to adapt to the shifting dynamics. As the situation evolved, the sense of unease grew. The galaxy was on edge, and the next steps would be crucial in determining the future of interstellar relations. Humanity had made a bold statement with the Aegis, and the reactions it provoked were shaping the path forward. The growing tensions marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. How humanity would navigate these challenges remained to be seen, but one thing was clear. The Aegis had changed the game, and the galaxy was watching closely. The crisis hits. The peace that had settled over the galaxy was shattered one fateful day. The alarms blared across Earth's military bases, signaling that an unprecedented threat was on the horizon. The Aegis, humanity's newly unveiled warship, was about to face its first real test. Captain Ava Carter was in her quarters when the emergency alert came through. She quickly gathered her team, all of whom were used to quick decision-making, but not the urgency of a real crisis. The Aegis was docked at a space station, ready for any eventuality, but this was no drill. "Report!" Captain Carter commanded as she entered the command center. The room was bustling with activity, screens flashing with data, and the crew members moving quickly to assess the situation. Lieutenant Kai Lin, the ship's tactical officer, was already at his station. "Captain, we've received distress signals from the nearby colony of Arcturus 6, he said. "They're under attack by an unknown fleet. The situation is dire, and they're requesting immediate assistance." Captain Carter's mind raced. Arcturus 6 was a vital colony, rich in resources and strategic for any interstellar conflicts. The attack on such an important location was alarming. "Prepare the Aegis for launch," she ordered. "We're heading to Arcturus 6. The crew worked with practiced efficiency, preparing the warship for combat. As the Aegis lifted off from the space station, its engines roared to life, and it accelerated towards the source of the distress signals. The journey was tense, with the crew fully aware that they were heading into a potentially deadly situation. As they approached Arcturus 6, the sight before them was chaotic. The once bustling colony was now a war zone. Ships were in combat, and explosions illuminated the dark space around the planet. The enemy fleet, a menacing array of sleek black vessels, seemed to be overwhelming the colony's defenses. "Captain, we're in range," Lieutenant Lin announced. "Shall we engage?" "Engage," Captain Carter confirmed. "Let's show them what the Aegis can do." The Aegis entered the fray with precision. Its weapons systems powered up, and the ship's advanced targeting system locked onto the enemy ships. The warship's energy shields flared as it deflected incoming fire. The crew worked seamlessly, each member performing their role with expertise. The battle was fierce. The enemy ships were aggressive, using hit-and-run tactics to harass the colony's defenses. The Aegis responded with equal ferocity, its unique weaponry cutting through the enemy fleet with remarkable efficiency. The warship's energy field absorbed and redirected attacks, protecting the colony and itself. Captain Carter's focus was intense. She gave orders and made quick decisions, ensuring that the Aegis remained in optimal position to defend against the enemy's assaults. Her crew was in constant communication, coordinating their efforts to maximize the warship's impact. Despite their best efforts, the situation on the ground was worsening. The enemy fleet was relentless, and the colony's defenses were being pushed to their limits. The distress signals from Arcturus 6 became more frantic, adding to the urgency of the battle. Amidst the chaos, the Aegis managed to push back the enemy fleet. The warship's advanced systems allowed it to target and disable enemy ships with precision. However, just as victory seemed within reach, a new threat emerged. A massive enemy dreadnought appeared, dwarfing the other ships and shifting the balance of power. "This is bad," Lieutenant Lin said, his eyes wide as he assessed the new threat. "That dreadnought is heavily armed and armored. It's going to be a tough fight." Captain Carter nodded, her determination unshaken. "We can't back down now. We need to take out that dreadnought, or this battle could be lost." The Aegis focused its firepower on the dreadnought, using every weapon at its disposal. The battle with the dreadnought was brutal. The Aegis maneuvered around the massive ship, dodging its heavy fire while targeting its weak points. The warship's advanced shields and weapon systems were pushed to their limits as it fought against the overwhelming firepower of the enemy. The struggle was intense, but the crew of the Aegis showed remarkable resilience. They adapted quickly to the changing dynamics of the battle, using their unique technology and tactics to gain the upper hand. The dreadnought's defenses began to falter, and the Aegis pressed its advantage. After a grueling battle, the dreadnought was finally destroyed. The remaining enemy ships, now leaderless and demoralized, quickly retreated. The Aegis had succeeded in driving back the attackers and saving the colony. As the smoke cleared and the battle subsided, Captain Carter and her crew took a moment to breathe. The damage to Arcturus VI was significant, but the immediate threat had been neutralized. The colony's defenders expressed their gratitude, and the survivors began the process of recovery. Back on the Aegis, the crew was exhausted but relieved. They had faced their first real crisis and emerged victorious. The battle had been a test of their skills and the warship's capabilities, and they had proven themselves under pressure. Captain Carter addressed her crew, her voice filled with pride. "We did well today. The Aegis performed beyond our expectations, and we defended an important colony. But remember, this is just the beginning. The galaxy is a dangerous place, and we must remain vigilant." As the Aegis prepared to return to Earth, the crew knew that the battle had marked a turning point. They had faced a real crisis and had proven their worth. The galaxy had seen what humanity could do, and the repercussions of this battle would be felt throughout the stars. Secrets unveiled. The aftermath of the battle at Arcturus VI was a time of reflection and discovery for the crew of the Aegis. While the immediate threat had been dealt with, the real work was only just beginning. The victory had come at a cost, and the crew knew there were still many unanswered questions about the enemy fleet and their motives. As the Aegis made its way back to Earth, Captain Ava Carter and her team began to analyze the data collected during the battle. The command center was filled with activity, as technicians and analysts sifted through the wreckage and transmissions to uncover any clues about their attackers. Lieutenant Kai Lin, the ship's tactical officer, was deeply focused on a set of intercepted communications. His face was illuminated by the glow of his monitor as he decoded the alien signals. "Captain, you might want to see this," he said, his voice tinged with excitement and concern. Captain Carter joined him, peering over the shoulder of her officer. The data revealed encrypted messages exchanged between the enemy ships. As the code was cracked, a pattern began to emerge. A connection between the attackers and a mysterious group known as the Shadow Syndicate. "The Shadow Syndicate?" Captain Carter repeated, frowning. "I've heard rumors about them. They're a covert organization known for causing trouble, but their true motives and extent of their power have always been a mystery. The information revealed that the Shadow Syndicate had orchestrated the attack on Arcturus VI to test the Aegis and to disrupt the galaxy's stability. They were not a mere group of pirates, but a well-organized faction with significant resources and hidden agendas. Their ultimate goal was to weaken the existing powers and create chaos to seize control for themselves. As the Aegis docked at Earth's space station, the crew prepared for debriefing. The High Command was eager to learn about the findings and to understand the threat posed by the Shadow Syndicate. General Elena Martinez, along with other senior officials, awaited the crew's report. In the briefing room, Captain Carter outlined the details of the battle and the new information about the Shadow Syndicate. "We've discovered that the attack on Arcturus VI was part of a larger scheme," she said. "The Shadow Syndicate is behind this, and their aim is to destabilize the galaxy." The room was silent as the officials absorbed the news. The implications were serious. If the Shadow Syndicate was as powerful and influential as the data suggested, the galaxy was facing a new and dangerous threat. The Shadow Syndicate's actions could have far-reaching consequences, General Martinez said, her expression grave. We need to prepare for their next move and strengthen our alliances. This is not just a threat to one colony, but to the entire galaxy. Captain Carter nodded. We're already working on strengthening our defenses and gathering more intelligence. We need to stay one step ahead of them. The revelation of the Shadow Syndicate's existence and their motives added a new layer of complexity to the situation. The crew of the Aegis was now on high alert, aware that their actions would play a crucial role in the unfolding events. As the days went by, the Aegis underwent repairs and upgrades. The battle had shown the need for additional enhancements to deal with future threats. The crew worked diligently, incorporating new technologies and improving the warship's capabilities. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continued to strengthen Earth's alliances. Ambassadors worked tirelessly to forge new partnerships and to gain support from other factions. The goal was to build a united front against the Shadow Syndicate and to ensure that humanity's role in the galaxy was secure. In a strategic meeting with key allies, Captain Carter presented the findings about the Shadow Syndicate. The response was mixed. Some factions were eager to join forces, seeing the threat as an opportunity for collaboration and mutual benefit. Others were hesitant, wary of the potential risks and the uncertainty of the situation. Despite the varying reactions, a coalition began to form. The goal was to create a combined force capable of countering the Shadow Syndicate's schemes and protecting the galaxy from further disruption. The alliance was a crucial step in preparing for the challenges ahead. Back on the Aegis, the crew was busy with preparations. The ship's new upgrades were tested and the team trained rigorously. They knew that the Shadow Syndicate would not be easily deterred, and they had to be ready for anything. Captain Carter and her team also focused on understanding the Shadow Syndicate's tactics and strategies. The intercepted communications and data provided valuable insights, but there was still much to learn. The crew was determined to uncover any remaining secrets and to stay ahead of their enigmatic adversaries. The period following the battle was one of intense activity and vigilance. The galaxy was on edge, and the shadow of the Shadow Syndicate loomed large. Humanity's place in the galaxy was evolving, and the crew of the Aegis was at the forefront of this new era. As the Aegis prepared for its next mission, Captain Carter reflected on the challenges ahead. The secrets unveiled had brought new understanding but also new responsibilities. The crew knew that their actions would have a significant impact on the galaxy's future. With determination and resolve, Captain Carter and her team braced themselves for the trials to come. The Shadow Syndicate's plans were still unfolding, and the Aegis was ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The stakes were high, and the path forward was fraught with danger. But humanity was prepared to meet the challenge head-on. A new galaxy. The formation of the new coalition marked a significant shift in the galaxy's power dynamics. The combined forces of Earth and its allies were prepared for the challenge that lay ahead. But the upcoming mission promised to be their most ambitious yet. The crew of the Aegis was about to embark on an unprecedented journey to explore uncharted territories, seeking to understand the true extent of the Shadow Syndicate's influence. As the Aegis prepared for its departure, Captain Ava Carter and her crew reviewed their mission objectives. The goal was to venture into a newly discovered sector of space that was rumored to harbor hidden bases and secret operations controlled by the Shadow Syndicate. The crew knew that this was not just a routine exploration, but a critical step in uncovering the Syndicate's plans. The space station buzzed with activity as the final preparations were completed. Supplies were loaded and the crew members checked their equipment. The atmosphere was a mix of excitement and apprehension. Everyone was aware that this mission could bring them face to face with the heart of the Shadow Syndicate's operations. Captain Carter gathered her team in the briefing room for one last discussion before departure. "We're heading into unknown territory," she said, her voice steady but filled with determination. "Our mission is to gather intelligence, locate any hidden bases, and assess the Shadow Syndicate's capabilities. Remember, our success could determine the fate of the galaxy. Lieutenant Kai Lin, the tactical officer, reviewed the ship's new navigation systems. "We've updated our sensors and added new stealth technology," he explained. "This will help us avoid detection and gather information without alerting the enemy." With everything in place, the Aegis departed from Earth's space station. The journey through the uncharted sector was tense. The crew remained vigilant, scanning for any signs of danger. The vastness of space was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, with countless stars and celestial phenomena stretching out before them. As the Aegis ventured deeper into the sector, they encountered a series of anomalies and strange signals. The crew carefully analyzed each one, noting the patterns and potential sources. The advanced sensors on the Aegis helped them detect faint energy signatures and hidden structures. One of the signals led them to a hidden space station concealed within a nebula. The station was heavily fortified and shielded, making it difficult to detect. The crew of the Aegis approached with caution, using their new stealth technology to avoid being spotted. Inside the hidden station, the crew discovered a vast array of data and communication networks. The station appeared to be a central hub for the Shadow Syndicate's operations, filled with intercepted transmissions and classified information. The crew worked quickly to download and analyze the data, uncovering valuable intelligence about the Syndicate's plans. The information revealed several key points. The Shadow Syndicate had established multiple hidden bases across the galaxy, each equipped with advanced technology and weaponry. Their goal was to destabilize key regions and create chaos to further their own agenda. The data also indicated that the Syndicate was planning a major offensive, aiming to strike at several crucial targets simultaneously. The revelations were both alarming and enlightening. The crew realized that the Shadow Syndicate's influence extended far beyond what they had initially thought. The threat was more significant than they had imagined, and the coalition would need to act swiftly to counter the impending offensive. As they made their way back to Earth, the Aegis crew shared their findings with the coalition leaders. The new information was met with urgency and concern. The coalition had to prepare for the Shadow Syndicate's next move and ensure that their defenses were ready. The data from the mission also revealed new opportunities for Earth and its allies. The hidden bases contained advanced technology that could be used to strengthen their own forces. The coalition began to strategize on how to utilize these discoveries to their advantage. On Earth, the mood was a mix of determination and resolve. The mission had provided critical insights, but the challenges were far from over. The coalition's leaders worked tirelessly to coordinate their response and to prepare for the anticipated offensive. Captain Carter and her team took some time to rest and regroup, but they were soon back to their duties. The Aegis was refitted and upgraded based on the new information, and the crew was ready for their next mission. The galaxy was on the brink of a major conflict, and the role of the Aegis and its crew was more crucial than ever. The Shadow Syndicate's plans were unfolding, and the coalition needed to be prepared for a full-scale war. The crew of the Aegis knew that their efforts would play a significant role in shaping the future of the galaxy. As the Aegis set out once again, Captain Carter reflected on the journey they had undertaken. The mission had revealed both the dangers and the potential of the galaxy. The crew was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, determined to protect their home and secure peace for the stars. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the forefront of this new era. The Aegis and its crew were ready to meet the challenge, exploring new frontiers and confronting the shadowy threats that lurked in the depths of space. The adventure was far from over, and the fate of the galaxy rested on their shoulders. Lasting impact. The return of the Aegis to Earth marked a pivotal moment in the galaxy's history. The revelations about the Shadow Syndicate had set in motion a series of events that would change the course of interstellar politics and warfare. As the crew disembarked, they knew that their work was far from over. The impact of their mission would be felt across the galaxy for years to come. Captain Ava Carter and her team were greeted with a mixture of relief and celebration. The success of their mission had a profound effect on Earth and its allies. The data they had gathered was crucial for preparing defenses and countering the Shadow Syndicate's plans. The first order of business was to share the information with the public and key stakeholders. A major address was planned to explain the situation and rally support for the coalition's efforts. The government wanted to ensure that everyone was aware of the threats and the steps being taken to protect their world and the galaxy. Captain Carter stood before a large audience, including diplomats, military leaders, and representatives from various factions. Her speech was broadcast across the galaxy, reaching billions of viewers. "We have uncovered significant threats posed by the Shadow Syndicate," she began. "Our mission has shown us that their influence extends far beyond what we had anticipated. But with the unity and strength of our coalition, we will stand together to protect our future." The address was met with a mix of awe and determination. The public was both impressed by the bravery of the Aegis crew and concerned about the threats they had uncovered. The government's message of unity and resilience resonated strongly, and there was a surge in support for the coalition's efforts. The coalition began to implement new strategies based on the intelligence gathered by the Aegis. Defense systems were upgraded, and new technologies were developed to counter the Shadow Syndicate's capabilities. The coalition's forces were better equipped and more prepared for the challenges ahead. In addition to military preparations, diplomatic efforts intensified. The coalition sought to strengthen alliances and build new partnerships. They aimed to create a united front against the Shadow Syndicate and to promote peace and stability across the galaxy. The Aegis crew played a crucial role in these efforts, sharing their experiences and insights with other factions. As the coalition worked to address the immediate threats, they also focused on long-term goals. The data from the mission revealed new opportunities for collaboration and innovation. The hidden technologies discovered in the Shadow Syndicate's bases were integrated into various projects, leading to advancements in science and engineering. Captain Carter and her crew were recognized for their contributions. They received commendations and honors from various factions, acknowledging their bravery and dedication. The crew's success had a lasting impact on their reputation and the way they were viewed by others. Despite the accolades, the crew remained focused on their mission. They continued to work closely with their allies, sharing information and strategizing for future operations. The Shadow Syndicate remained a looming threat, and the crew of the Aegis was determined to see their mission through to the end. In the years that followed, the galaxy saw significant changes. The coalition's efforts led to increased cooperation and unity among its members. The Shadow Syndicate's influence was gradually diminished, and their operations were disrupted by the combined forces of the coalition. The legacy of the Aegis mission was felt across the galaxy. The bravery and determination of Captain Carter and her crew had inspired others to stand up against threats and to work together for a common cause. Their actions had set a precedent for future endeavors and had shown that even the most daunting challenges could be overcome through unity and perseverance. The galaxy's political landscape shifted as new alliances were formed and old rivalries were set aside. The cooperation that emerged from the crisis fostered a new era of peace and stability. The lessons learned from the mission continued to guide diplomatic and military strategies, ensuring that the galaxy remained vigilant and prepared for any future threats. As for the Aegis crew, their journey was far from over. They continued to explore new frontiers and tackle emerging challenges. The experience had changed them, shaping their perspectives and strengthening their resolve. They had become symbols of hope and resilience, embodying the spirit of humanity's quest for peace and security. Captain Carter often reflected on the impact of their mission. She knew that the galaxy was a better place because of the efforts of her crew and the support of their allies. The experience had forged bonds and inspired others to work together for a brighter future. The final chapter of the Aegis mission was not just about the end of a journey, but about the beginning of a new era. The crew's legacy continued to influence the galaxy, reminding everyone of the power of courage, unity, and hope. As the stars shimmered in the vast expanse of space, the crew of the Aegis remained committed to their mission. They faced the future with confidence, knowing that their actions had made a lasting difference. The galaxy was a place of endless possibilities, and the Aegis was ready to explore them all.